Joshime Tocham Rira Vingshin Inde Genpadi Sangye Shindu Mite Uwagi Roku Namda Shina Chupasho Inam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamyatayami Chudang Sokti Chonama Changchu Bardu Dagni Kyapsuchi Daki Chinyen Gipe Sunamki Dola Penchir Sangye Tuparsho Chudang Sokti Chonama Changchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chinyen Gipe Sunamki Dola Benchir Sangye Duparsho Chudan Soki Chonama Changchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chinyen Gibe Sunamki Dola Benchir Sangye Duparsho. All right then. Just to remind you, we are Shopping's working on a text on Vinaya, and it's Tsongkhapa's summary of the whole Vinaya school, which is a brilliant piece of summary. You see what I mean? For someone to take, the basic Vinaya texts are 4,000 pages long, and he puts it into a small poem, and it's correct, and it's cool, and it's enough. So you can learn all of Vinaya from this one poem. And it's amazing. He was not just an amazing person who could write 1,000-page like Lamrim Chenmo or Ngagren Chenmo, but he was a person who could put it all into 14, 15 verses, and it would be just as cool, So he's amazing ability to simplify things also, which is a great teacher, I think. Okay, all right. So I believe we're here, Nipani. So. Whenever you hit this part, you okay? You've gone in the same place?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Nipani means part 2, but we don't know what's part 2. So whenever you hit part 2, you got to go back and find out. There's going to be some place above. So for Byron's information, this is everyone's got their own text. She's already on page 16 in English translation. So if you go back, you can see her translation. And we stopped here. So first semester, this is her translation of Tsongkhapa's Vinaya text. These marks represent typing error or some kind of carving error. We're using many other commentaries to okay, here. Okay, 2 steps. A description of positions shared by sutra and detailist schools, and then a description of the unique positions held by each of the 2. Okay, so that's part 2. So if it's me, I will block this out. It's not showing up on the, but I will block that out, and I'll go down to part 2. And just from my translation, Allison, I will put in, that's what he promised would be part 2. Okay, unique positions held by detailists and sutrists. Mm-hmm. So basically Vinaya is what's cool. Yeah, it's first school stuff. Okay, basically, and but the first two schools of Buddhism, the detailist school. Why are they called detailists?
Both detailed exposition.
Yeah, they believe in a book called. They follow a book called Detailed Explanation. They and the second school, which is the Sutrists, because they favor sutras. They have different ways of explaining the nature of a vow, and it's kind of. You know, people sometimes complain to me. One person complained to me. They said, "You teach too much. There's too much detail." You know, and I'm like. The purpose we're going to go into the detail of these two schools is that when you try to keep the vows, you have some appreciation. You know what I mean? You're thinking about vows. The more you discuss vows, the better you'll keep your vows. So that's why why is some couple bother if two schools have different idea what is a vow or how do you keep a vow? It's to so we get the discussion about vows and not about Trump or something. You see what I mean? Then you'll start thinking about vows and maybe you'll keep your vows. Okay, all right. Now, this is an interesting input because they've made a major mistake in the first line. This is supposed to be lungak. Okay, it's not lugar. I don't know who. Somebody was drunk. Should be a comma here, actually. Every line of verse starts with a comma and ends with a comma. Okay. Say Deyan Lungat Le.
Deyan Lungat Le.
Sukchayin.
Sukchayin.
She Dupadang.
She Dupadang.
Pongwe Semba.
Pongwe Semba.
Ginchakpa.
Ginchakpa.
Saban Danche.
Saban Danche.
Yeno She.
Yeno She.
Dupet Sulni.
Dupet Sulni.
Nambani.
Nambani.
Rangi Depa.
Rangi Depa.
Kongoma.
Kongoma.
I'm going to start with the end because we just had it. Rangi Depa, we had it in Utpala's text, means.
Our school.
Yeah, our schools, meaning Buddhist schools. Okay, our own Buddhist schools, Kong and Ok.
Higher and lower.
Yeah, higher and lower ones profess Mawa. Profess, they teach. Our own schools, Buddhist schools, higher and lower, meaning first school, second school. They have Dupetsuni Nampanyi. They have two positions. They have two ways of believing, meaning they have two different positions. There are two kinds of positions. Okay, Nambanyi means two kinds. The first one says that the vows, let's go read it. Basically, the first school says the vows are physical. The second school says they're mental. Okay, so how that is, it's an interesting question. Okay, so here we go. Shema Takpa. Ma Takpa is an idiom. We've had it a couple times. I don't know if anybody remembers. Ma Takpa is an idiom. When you put it after a verb, what does ka mean after a verb?
Second.
Yeah, just about to blah. If you say droka means just about to go. But matakpa means just after. Okay. So shematapa means which I just explained. Okay, which we just explained. So I guess you could say matapa is the opposite of ka. Okay, which we just explained. Okay, matapa. You're gonna look at man, it means mother, and tapa means rope, and you get translations that are pretty weird. It's an idiom. Okay, when we finish our hypertext dictionary, my dream is that you guys hypertext your own texts. Meaning we're creating a dictionary from each person's translation. There's every school of Buddhism sitting around this table right now. Every major school is represented around this table. That was designed that way. By the end of this process, we have a dictionary that covers the unique 5 languages of Buddhism in one dictionary, online dictionary, which would automate translation and put you all out of business. I'm not looking forward to this day. It will come. It will come. Shematapi just explained Sotaki Domba, Pratimoksha vows. Okay, Sotaki Domba, Pratimoksha vows. lo ni, the essence or the nature of them, is gewele.
Good karma.
Yeah, good karma. Okay, good karma. Now, I've done something, Allison and the rest of you, that I'd like you to start doing. Most of you have root texts and commentaries, and it's typical for a Tibetan author to show off that he knows the root text by weaving it into his explanation. So this bold I put in for you. Okay, see up here? De yang lungak le. De yang lungak. I should have done this one. I should have blocked out this. Okay, so, and also in your English, of course we've already done it in our English. In English, we're gonna italicize. This is part of his root text. The italics here is part of Nud and Chepale. We should block these out in black later. It takes a little skill because the first mention of the same words is not necessarily the part where he's weaving. You have to have some sensitivity to it. You have to tell which part is the weaving and which part is the explanation. Okay, okay, here we go. So, Deyang lungak ile segyope. Okay, what is good karma? In Vinaya, it's what you do and what you say. The first 7 non-virtues are virtues. Okay, 3 physical, 4 verbal is the essence of Vinaya. Vinaya doesn't classically talk much about the last 3. Okay, most of Vinaya is about your external behavior. Okay, so Kappa made a strong point about the mental part, the last 3 of the 10 bad deeds being the most important. But classically in Vinaya, we're talking about physical and verbal behavior. So Kappa says, talks a lot about the attitudes that trigger physical and verbal behavior, but it's not a classic Vinaya approach. Okay, okay. Lunga le sekyurpa. Now, difficult thing, but cool. Okay, say nambarik J. Nambarik J mayimba. And you always say suk afterwards. Nambarik J ki suk. Nambarik J mayimbe suk. Nambarik J ki suk. Nambarik J mayimbe suk. This is a Vinaya idea. It's an Abhidharma idea. I've talked to you about it before. I think it's really sexy, and it's completely made up. Okay.
It's the stuff that sticks to you when you take the vow.
It's kind of like that. Okay, so number rikche kisuk. Rikche, the important 2 words here are rikche. Rikche means causes you to realize. Rikche means causes you to know. Okay, makes you know. Okay, and the classic example is the chicken posture. Okay, so a person who's taking a vow squats, or they genuflect, and they always put their hands in this mudra. Okay, so that's the classic example in Vinaya of number rikche kisuk, meaning by looking at that person's physical outline, you can learn something about their motivation, their state of mind. You see? So that's called number rikche kisuk. It's a very important idea in Abhidharma. Okay? From the outer appearance the person takes, you can assume something about their thoughts. That's called knowing.
We used to have communicating.
Yeah, I worked out this translation called communicating form. It communicates their intentions. If you go like, you show your middle finger, that communicates your intentions. Okay, it's a physical form that communicates your state of mind. Okay, that's number rikche kisuk. Physical form, suk, which communicates rikche, what the person has in their mind. So typically, in the taking of a vow, in the subject of vows, they begin with a number to cheiki suk. The person squatting, they're in the chicken position, they have their hands like this. You know they're in the mood of taking a bow, hopefully. Okay. Then, according to Abhidharma, a cosmic photograph is taken. And it is glued on the person's soul. Okay? So forever after, they will have number to cheiki mayimbe suk. They will have a physical aura that is not visible of a person who has a pratimoksha vow. And that's a cool idea. God takes a picture and tapes it to their back. You know? And until the day they give up that vow, that aura, they possess that aura. So I think it's a beautiful idea. I imagine if you were a super spiritual person, you could look at someone and see they have a vow or not, from some kind of weird aura or something. Okay, so that's the concept. I think it's a beautiful one. You know, when you take a pratimoksha vow, in the first 10 minutes or half hour, your intentions are visible. And after that, they stay with you, but they are invisible. Okay, got it? And that's called number to cheiki suk and number to cheiki mayimbe suk. And it's very famous in the Abhidharma school. Okay, why is he talking about that? You're getting a cold already. You're supposed to get a cold later.
Can we spare her from being arrogant?
Yeah, I don't mind to turn off the
No,
air.
it's okay. Here is better.
Yeah, it's not as
Don't get sick,
cold.
okay? What do you call it? I don't allow you to get sick. She got sick last term.
I can bring a little heater for you.
I think a mink
The
coat.
translation
Mint
move.
coat.
Coldness doesn't get cold.
My baby.
Okay, here it says communicating form or form which doesn't communicate, which is verbal and physical actions. Okay? Okay. Maybe we say action for lay, I don't know. Okay? Acts of body or speech which are either communicate your intention or don't communicate your intention. Okay? Sukkidupe, sukchen yin. Okay? So read backwards. Okay? There's a school that believes, Döpa, that, quote, okay, she means quotation mark. What do they believe? They believe, quote, the vows are verbal, physical and verbal karma, which is physical. Okay? They are physical, sukchen. Okay? The vows are physical. Okay? They are physical action and physical verb, verbalization. Okay? They believe that. And that can be divided into that which communicates your intention and that which doesn't communicate your intention. Okay? So they believe the vows are something physical. What kind? Two kinds. What two kinds? One, you can look at the person and know that they're taking a vow, or you know what they're thinking. And one stays with the person afterwards, but you can't see it. If a monk takes off their clothes and wears a business suit, you can't see their vows. You can't see that they have vows. Okay? Got it? Okay. Then there's another school, okay? Now, that's the first school. Your vows are something physical, okay? Now here comes the second school. There's a school that believes, believes what? Quotation mark, she, that this physical and verbal actions, okay, along with chepa, not limited to physical and verbal actions, but they're going to add one more thing. It's not just what you say and what you do. It includes, chepa means you have to include, dang chepa means you have to include. Include what?
The stream of the mind.
Semba gyun chapa means, semba, so sem means mind. Sem means mind. Sempa
Soul.
means a thought. Okay? is defined as a movement of the mind. Okay, semba is defined as a movement of the mind. Anytime your mind moves, okay, like after you had your coffee. Before that, it's just sem. Then you have sempa. Then thoughts start to move through your mind. That's called semba. And in Buddhism, that's raw karma. Okay, that's raw karma. It's a movement of the mind. Yeah, it's the definition of raw karma. It's the source of all physical and verbal karma. Something moves in your mind. I don't like this person. Then you say something. Then you hit them. But first comes the movement in the mind. So that's believed to be raw karma. Is thinking. Okay, so even if you control yourself from doing something bad, if you're thinking about it a lot, you make karma. Okay, unfortunately. Okay, okay. So that now gyun chakpa means continued. Okay, gyun means stream. Chapa means formed. Gyun chapa is an idiom that means continued intention, meaning in some people's minds, it's not in, sometimes you're sitting with somebody and you say, I'd like to punch you right now, but then you just that thought goes through your mind like, you're like, I like to punch it. And then you go, and then your mind just continues, and you're like, whoa, where'd that come from? That's not a gyun chapa. It's not a sustained thought. Sustained would be a good translation. So for something to be a karma, it can't be a random thought. You see, oh, I'd like to kill this person, or I feel like kicking you in the butt right now. Or, that's not a sustained enough to make a seed in your mind. Okay, it's just a random thought. Dreams are also like that. Okay, if you do naughty stuff in dreams, it's not considered gyun chakpa. It's not strong enough to create a strong mental seed. Okay, it won't create a seed. You can do all kinds of weird stuff in your dreams. Monks don't break their vows if they break them in a dream. Okay, that's a famous subject in Vinaya. Because the state of mind is not stable, and it's not sustained. Okay, so sustained thought. Okay, to give up. Okay, bang. To give up. Rangimi tunchok means the opposite. Okay, the opposite of speaking the truth is lying. Of splitting people up is bringing people together. Okay, so like that. So that intention to do the opposite. Okay, according to according to the sutras, is part of a vow. Okay, so the vow is not keeping the vow is not just the good karma, the first 7 of the 10. It also includes the intention to keep it. Okay, which is probably more correct, right? Hopefully, it's not just that you want to appear to be holy. You want to be holy. You have that intention to act, to behave properly. Okay, so the intention linked with the behavior is the vow. That's the real vow. That's the nature of the vow. No, that's the nature of a pratimoksha vow. That's the guts. That's the heart.
That's the second.
Shing. That's the sutrist opinion. Yeah, second school. Okay, they say. Now they want to throw in one more thing. Who can show me what it is in this sentence? Yeah, good. Yeah, along with the seed. Along with the seed. Saban tangche. Along with the seed. Okay? Along with the seed, meaning the mental seeds. Okay? Deep-seated seed for thinking that way. That's all part of the vow. Okay? According to them. Therefore, sul nambani, there are 2 different opinions. Namba means types of opinions. Okay, there are. Okay, which is whose? Which of these 2 is whose? Shima is dodepa.
Oh.
The latter one, the second one, chima means second or latter, the second of the two, is dodepa, is sutrist. And ngama means the previous one, the former one. In English we say former and latter. Is detailist. Okay. Shepa, position. We had that with Utpala's text. That's their, what do we say? Assertion, yeah. Therefore, you can say that our own groups, Rangitepa meaning Buddhist groups, higher and lower means school number 2 and school number 1. These two believe that Shepao means, and that's what Tsongkhapa's saying. Okay, so Shepao here means that's what Tsongkhapa is saying. Okay, Shepao. Okay, that's what Tsongkhapa is saying. I like her text because it's very straightforward, there's no confusion. That's the most difficult part of the whole text, by the way. We just finished it. Okay, that sentence is going to need some work here. This sentence is going to need some work. We'll have to work on it. But it gets easier from here. They start just discussing the vowels and stuff, which is pretty straightforward. So, Nipa is part 2, that's the second part 2, which is going to be the divisions of the vowels. Okay, and you can go back. This is, when you have a Nipa, is where you're going to insert an English header. You know, you're going in your translation, you're going to put something like divisions of the vowels. You know, you're going to put something like that. You see, 2 spaces here, 1 space here. And in English, that's how we show them. In Tibetan, you just keep repeating things. Number 2. It's very frustrating to a Westerner. You have to go back and see what was number 2. Okay. Now, when you translate it, you add material. Here's number 2, the divisions of the vowels. Okay. Even if he just says, here's number 2. Okay. So
Stylistically, would you capitalize the
I like not to.
Okay.
I think it looks more modern. If I have a major subject thing before that, I'll do something like this. And then I'll capitalize that.
Why you don't
You know.
capitalize?
Personally, I do sometimes and I don't sometimes.
Oh.
So what's
No,
your
I-
It's related to the order of the heading, so if you've got a first order heading, it would be capitalized, second
Right.
order heading not.
Well, I'll show you. Here's the
And do you need to leave several
official
spaces?
here's the manual. Here's the training manual. Okay, and I will. There's Nick. I will. You see here. See that I might capitalize everything, and then the sub things I might. Well, there I see here. I didn't capitalize them all.
That's mixing the same sentence.
No, not really.
Oh, because after the colon you.
Yeah, this is a
Well,
title.
table
This
legs
is a yeah.
Is a phrase,
Professional
a
behavior.
term of phrase.
Production skills. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So I might do it. That's how I actually do it in a.
Table legs.
This is teacher levels.
Oh, like New
Uh,
York. 2 words, but both
Yeah.
part of the same.
Life tools,
Oops.
1 word.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it
Trademark.
depends on how big a subject it is. You know. So the main header, I'll put all caps. You see, and then in a subheading I might put not. You see, something like that. Okay. Okay, let's go back. But it's up to you. I think it looks cleaner if you don't keep capitalizing everything. But it's up to you. Okay, so Nipe de Rapti Yewa means the divisions of the vowels. We're going to go in two parts. Dividing the different kinds of Pratimoksha vowels is going to come in 2 parts. First, we're going to give Yewa Nge. Nge means the actual division into 8 kinds of vowels. And then secondly, Dutsu means can you group them do the 8 fall into groupings? Can you group some of the vowels together? Okay, so there's actually 3 ways to group them. And he's going to discuss that. Okay, so first we need the 8 kinds of vowels. We have to recite this every sojo. So we memorize it, you know. So this is a list of the different vowels. Here's his commentary, which is not much commentary, as you can see. The black is the root text. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's a major commentary. But there's not much to say, it's just a list, you see. He could have just made a list. Yene means a one-day vowel. And I had a cool idea. If you teach this text in Thailand, we could take a one-day vowel on one of the days. One-day Mahayana vowel.
No playing music.
Yeah.
Wow. One day vow of
It's called a one-day Mahayana vow.
wow.
And you don't eat afternoon.
Oh, we
You don't use makeup. You can't play music. Something like
it's
that.
popular in China.
And Tijia Rinpoche wrote a great ceremony for it. We followed this one. He wrote a great explanation of it. And we usually teach it just before we take it. So I thought, if you teach, we could segue into the vow. You know, you could teach it the day before. And then we could take, it's going to be maybe 400 or 500 people there. We could all take the vow. And it'd be cheaper too, because
Cheaper.
we'll get the money for the food, but we don't give them the food. Okay. I have a friend, a Mongolian guy. He was always overweight, and he took a one-day vow, and after that he changed. Carmen's brother.
Just one time?
Yeah.
Wow.
Something happened to him.
Wow.
There's another story about Dr. Taylor sitting with a box, a package of Oreos,
You said you made that up.
and going like this, because the vow is ended the next day when the sun rises, but the definition of the sun rising is when you can see the lines in your palm.
Yeah.
So he's got the cookies in his hand here, and he's like this, and somebody's alarm went off. Okay. Anyway, I thought it'd be fun. We could do your class, and then you could explain the one-day vow. Okay. Yeah, because this next section of your text explains the one-day vow.
Okay.
It explains the one-day vow. Okay. Genyen. So Nyene means one-day vow. Genyen Pama means lifetime layman's vows. Okay. Di means Pa Ma means male and female. So that counts as 2 different kind of pratimoksha vows. The male version of the one-day vow and the female version of the Sorry. Sorry, lifetime layman's vows. Sorry. Lifetime layman's vows. Okay.
There are 2 versions?
Yeah, there's a male and there's a female. It's the same vows. But they just, in pratimoksha, in Vinaya, in the study of Vinaya, we consider them separate vows.
Okay.
So how many you have so far? 3, yeah. Getsul Pama is a novice, baby monk, baby nun, male and female, okay? And those are group, those are the 2. Gelopma is an intermediate nun. So there's a step in the nun's vows between baby nun and full nun. There's another step between where you get sort of like a medium vow.
But no intermediate monk.
No.
Okay.
And Vinaya is sometimes sexist. It's sometimes, what do you call it?
Discriminatory.
It discriminates. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it, I would say it comes from ancient India. It's the customs of ancient India. Yeah, even in America, women couldn't own property. They couldn't vote till the 1930s. They couldn't own property. They couldn't have a bank account. So it's only recently that in the Western countries, that women have had any kind of rights. It's still not equal. But so anyway, and by the way, the teaching on the Wheel of Life that we'll do in Buddha Buddha, there's a third explanation of how the Buddha taught the wheel. And it's a discussion of discrimination in Buddhism. And it's from a sutra, and it's very interesting. So we'll be doing that in Buddha Buddha. I don't think anyone's ever taught it before. But it's a discussion of an incident during the time of the Buddha when the women kind of rebelled and said, we want equal rights. And it's very interesting. You know. Yeah, and then there's this discussion of whether the Buddha was discriminatory or not. So I thought that's kind of cool. And the heroine of the story becomes an arhat, which is also rare to find in this sutra. Okay, anyway. And then there's a full nun, Gelong Ma, and there's a full monk, Gelong Pa. Even that's discriminatory, because the text says Gelong Ma and Gelong. Real Gelong and then a female Gelong. Even the poem is discriminatory. Anyway, Gelong Pate, Sasatapa Domba, the vows of individual freedom, right? Prati Moksha. There are 8 types. Rigye means there are 8 types. Ye means there are. Sheso, the sheso is always he's saying. He's saying. Who? Tsongkhapa, because it's a commentary. Right? He's saying that there's 8 types of vows. Okay, so in your translation, everything in bold here is going to be in italics in the English. Okay. Now we reach the second part, which is how do we group the 8 together into different groups? Is there a way to, do they hang together? Do some of the 8 hang together with other of the 8? Okay. Kimbe Domba Dambosum Rabja Domba Tamanga. The first 3 vows, the first 3 types of vows are for Kimbas. Kim means house. Kimpa means house owner, which I recently had the honor of becoming. I complained about it one day to V, and she's like, well, if you don't like it, you know. But I've never owned a car or a house in my life, and now I do both. And so Kimba means house owner. It means a non-monk, someone who didn't leave the home life. Okay. Technically, a monk is supposed to sleep under trees, which gets harder the older you get. Okay.
It's easy when you're young.
It's okay, yeah, well anyway, sleeping bag on a tree is okay when you're in your 20s. Kimbe Dhamma Dhammasam. The first 3 are householder vows, lay vows. We call lay in English, lay vows. What are the first 3?
One day
vows, lifetime man's vows, lifetime woman.
Yeah, lifetime man and woman. Yeah, so 3. Okay. What are the? Then Rapchung. Rapchung means someone who has left the home life. Raptu chunga. It means very much left. Okay, past tense. Chung. Very much left the home life. Okay. We say, what do you call it? Left the home life. Okay. So the last 5. Tama means the last. Tama means last. Nga means 5. The last 5 vows are for those who have left the home life and have entered a monastery or a nunnery. Okay. What are the last 5? Starts with Getsu Pama. What's Getsu Pama in English?
Novice, baby,
Yeah,
mom,
novice, male, female. Then intermediate nun vow. And then full nun and full monk. These 5 are for people who have left home life and living in a monastic institution. Probably in the early days, there were no monasteries. the point was that you were like homeless. You didn't try to own things, and then it was less distracting. I think nowadays, if you don't own anything, it's more distracting. I tried it. There's a bunch of caves in a canyon near here. I went there. I tried to stay there. It doesn't work. I'd rather have a little house. You don't get highly poisonous snakes coming in your cave, and it's more efficient to have a small, simple house that you can close the door. In my opinion. Okay. Red Gable Dedak Duna. Now, here's his commentary on that. Okay. Gal Kemble. Okay, you should know his name, Gal Kemble. Here's his commentary. If you group those 8 into groups, Kimbe Chok. Chok here means a side. Classically, it means direction, like the 4 directions. But in philosophy, it means, on the layperson side, okay, Dombe Nangtu. In there's the first 3 vowels. What are they? Nyene, the one-day vowel, and Genyen Pama, the lifetime layman vowels, male or female, Domba. That is to say, the first 3. Okay, so you can group the layman's side of vowels into the first 3. Okay, the first 3 are grouped into layman's vowels. And into the vowels for those who have left the home life, you can group the last 5 vowels, and then he lists them for you. Novice, male and female, intermediate female, and then full male or female vowels. Okay? Got it? Now he's going to give, I guess, 3 other ways of doing it. Okay? 3 other ways of grouping them. Okay? And it's not part of Tsongkhapa's commentary, part of Tsongkhapa's root text. Gal Kemble's saying, if you want to, you could group them in different ways. Okay? Gone, you should know. Go means door. Ne means through. But gone is an idiom in Tibetan that means by way of, via, V-I-A. We could group them through this way, through. It means through. So don't translate it as through the door. It just means you could group them by ze. We had a discussion at ze yesterday. Huh? Substance. We connected it to which part of the wheel of life?
Second.
Why?
Because it's making pots out of
Yeah,
earth.
because zar is clay. It's so ze means substantial. A very, very important word in Buddhism. Okay, we had it in her text where substantial meant self-standing. The soul stands without body and mind. Okay, so ze is an important word in Buddhism. Shenyang means moreover. Okay, Shenyang means moreover. Ze rikigone. If you divided them sort of by their class of stuff, okay, what is their substance? The vowels. Okay, do not. If you group them that way, you could say that lifetime male and female vowels hang together as one substance or one stuff. Okay, meaning probably their content. Okay, so the male and female lifetime vowels kind of hang together. That would be one group. He didn't mention nyene, one day vowel here. Geitsu, it comes at the end. Geitsu pamani. You could group novice monks and nuns, and you could throw in the intermediate nun and call that another group, the next group, kind of by the substance. Okay, they are zechik. They are the same stuff. Same content, roughly. Okay. And then Gelon Pama, then the full monk and full non-vows, they kind of group together as one substance. So how many groups you have when you do it by Zei? So far you have 3 groups. Then he's got to decide where to throw in the
Intermediate.
one-day vow. You know, where do we put the one-day vow? Nyene Kidomba, let's count it as a separate substance. Logsu means separate. Okay, let's treat it as a separate substance. So, if you do it by substance, gone. If you do it by substance, gone. Okay, if you, how many? She. And shir means as for. We can group them into 4. So all the vows can be grouped into 4 according to substance. They can be grouped into 8. Sorry. Into 2 according to whether it's a layperson or someone who left the home life. Okay. Left the home life or haven't left the home life. There's a separate ceremony for leaving the home life that you rush through just before you take novice vows. You know, and it became just a formality. You know, it takes about 10 minutes, and you promise to leave the home life, and then they make you a monk. Okay, so, okay. And to be honest, a lot of people do the novice and the full vows in the same day nowadays.
Oh,
Yeah. I did. Yeah. He made me live as a monk for 8 years. That just unofficial. And then he gave me both on the same day.
Owl Shikdu, is that a variant of
Yeah.
BHDU?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To group can be grouped to dua.
Bao Sata.
Yeah. And
Owl.
Adam's going to have this verb prominently in his text. Why?
Oh, he's grouping
Because I-
Shijas.
Yeah, exactly. Duce,
Duje.
produced
Oh,
thing.
Duje.
That, which literally means gyudan ken dune chepe chu. Wow. Gyudan ken dune chepe
Causes and
chu.
conditions.
Cause and conditions have convened and then produced something. So it's a difficult word. But here, convene is here grouping. Grouping. Yeah.
Do.
The word for meeting in Tibetan is songdu. Sok ndu. Songdu. Songdu.
Songdu.
If you look it up in dictionary, you look up song and then du, you'll never find it. It's sok with a strong du after it. So it sounds like songdu. Okay. All right. Anyway, grouping. Probably a groupie is a duma. I don't know. Just kidding.
Prenasals. It's not.
It's a heavy prenasal. It's not an open vowel. It's illegal.
Okay.
Talk to Tumi
But it's
Samboda.
happened
I always tell
37
people talk to
times in the
Tumi
last 2
Samboda.
days.
It has, yeah, like Gyaltsen.
It seems connected to where there might otherwise be an ambiguity.
It could be. Okay, the next division is made by what? I'll drink a green drink. You tell me what.
Dude, right?
One day.
Through the mode of time.
Time, duration, duration.
We have shot.
That's easy, right? Duration.
With 2 of them.
Journal.
Duration means how long do you keep it? Yeah, okay.
So,
Mm,
2?
exactly. There's only 2. Yeah. Very smart. Okay, Duki Gone Duna, if you divide it up if you group them by time, Nyene Kidomba, the one day vow, Nyin Shak Chik. Nyin Shak means 24 hours. So in English, the word day is tricky. It can mean until night. It can mean 24 hours. So in Tibetan, there's a word to clarify 24 hours, Nyin Shak, a full 24-hour period. So you might translate it as 24-hour period rather than translating it as day. Keep it for a day, okay? Because you might think you could start eating the Oreos when it gets dark, but you can't. You have to wait till the dawn comes up. So it's a Nyin Shak vow, and it's not a Nyin vow. Okay, Nyin Shak means a 24-hour period. Ta Chen means its end comes at, see, ta means end, right? Chen means possesses an end. It's a Nyincha Chi Ta Chen means it possesses an end of 24 hours. Meaning, its duration ends after 24 hours. Okay, Ta Chen means what's the line where it stops. It stops after 24 hours. Okay. Shen Dun means what?
The other.
The other Dun.
Seven.
Yeah, the other 7 are Jisi Tsoi Pardu.
For life, mainly.
Yeah, very, very, very famous when you take the vows. Jisi Tsoi Pardu. Say Jisi. Tsoi Pardu. Jisi. Tsoi Pardu. Until the day I die. Okay, it's the first wording of most of the Pratimoksha vows. Jisi means as long as. Tso means to stay alive. The Sanskrit is Rakshita. So Shanta Rakshita is Shiva Tso in Tibetan. Famous author. Dharma Rakshita is Dharma Tso. Chukit Tso, Chutso, something. So it's Ao Tso. Mao Tso means
Principle.
Ocean.
No?
Ocean.
Yeah.
Ao Tso means to. This spelling means life, how long you live. Okay, it means to sustain life. Okay, so Jisi Tsoi Ta Chen means its end is the end of your life as long as you live. Okay, needs to duo. So that division is kind of boring. There's only 2. There's 1 member and there's 7 members. Okay. This is a sort of a controversial statement. Yenlak Igone. Here, this Yenlak is very famous in Sugang's text because his main subject is Yenlak Chunyi. Yeah, the most famous Yenlak is the 12 links. It's Anga in Sanskrit. Okay, like what do you call a shoulder stand? Sarvanga. Yeah, all limbs. So anga means limb. So anyway, now let's divide them up by their limbs, meaning their components. So yenlak can be component here. If you divide them up according to their components, okay. Gelung Pame Domba, the vows of a male or female full monk or nun, you take the Lungaki Mige Dun. Anyone gonna tell me what that means?
You take
The 7 parts of body and mind. I mean, of word and
Yeah,
body action.
the 7 components of the 10, which are physical and verbal, which is the first 3 are physical, the next 4 are verbal. Okay, so the main subject of Vinaya is the first 7. Okay, Lungaki Megewa Dumbo, they're Topa Dan Chepa, and you take anything that might be included into them. Okay, like all the kinds of sexual misconduct, or all the kinds of stealing, or all the kinds of lying, all forms of each of those. Okay, monks and nuns try to avoid all of them, all forms of the 7. Okay, anything included, the basic 7 of body and speech, and everything else that might be included into those 7, all of them, tamche le lokpa. Le lokpa means they try to do the opposite. They try to avoid. Le lokpa means they try to avoid. Monks and nuns are trying to avoid not just the 7, but anything that might have to do with them. Okay.
That's over time, just so you know.
Okay. Whereas, Dele Shembe Dupanam, the other 6, which means what?
The other 6 types of vows.
Yeah, people who are keeping the other 6 kind of vows, they're not full monk or nun yet. Luki Sokchu Sok Sum Tang. Physically, they're just trying to avoid the 3 that start with killing. Okay? Killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. So the other 6 kinds of vows, they're just focusing on the first 3 of the 10 in their body. Not on everything involved with that. You see what I mean? Not in every variation. Just the basic form of the first three, physically. Verbally, Ngaki, they're trying to keep the four that begins with lying. Okay? Just the basic form. They're not trying to get fancy. Every possible variation of lying or killing. The basic form of killing is a human or a fetus. They're just trying to keep that one, you know. Monks are out there with their little filter thing and they're trying not to drink a bug in their water. They're supposed to carry around a filter, you know. Sock. What do you call that?
Sieve.
Yeah, they're supposed to carry a sieve around. And before they drink water, they're supposed to go like this and then, you know. So, but the other 6 vows, look, just don't kill a human, okay? Okay, like that. All right? Shide topa dan chepa le lopa. They are trying to avoid the basic 3 of body and the basic 4 of speech. And that's all. There's 2 divisions. Okay? Full monks and nuns are trying to avoid the 7 and anything related to them. And then the other 6 types of vows, they're just trying to stick to those basics. The most basic forms. Don't lie about your spiritual life is the basic form. Don't commit adultery with another person's wife or husband. Okay? Don't steal something over $9. Okay? Something like that. The cost of a good sweater, the cost of a decent sweater is the definition. $9. Well, I'm not talking about your wife. I mean, you know.
We better go get him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Upstairs.
$1.50.
You're teaching.
Not my goodwill.
Okay. When we continue, we're going to get the details of each set of vows. What vows are they keeping? Okay. I like it. You know, somehow this relates to Udpala's text. Somehow, you know, you can't understand what she's studying if you don't understand this. You see what I mean? Got it? The seeds of morality are why you can understand something complicated. If you have good morality, your mind is better. Your mind is sharper. Okay? All right.